Hey there, guys. Welcome to The Kick. It is Thursday, and obviously, we're ready to get into some more great advice for growing your business and also having a look this week at how to write website copy. Brought in two of our copywriters from Excite Media. You are in for a treat in finding out exactly what goes into a great website. Now, here's something that may surprise you. How do you judge a great website? It's not uncommon in most of the meetings that I have that people will say, "Oh, I love the Apple website. It looks amazing." And that's really how often we actually judge a website. We say, well, does it look good? But funnily enough, there is something more secret, more important to getting a great website to return business results. And that's actually the messaging and the copy, the language that communicates what you do, how I engage with you, and your point of difference. And to do that, you've got to have somebody that writes really well. So we're going to find out a little bit about that. Now, keep in mind that during the whole show, we would love you to be able to ask questions. So make sure that you get in touch online, whether it's through LinkedIn or Facebook. And today we're going to have both Laura and Nerida on the show, and they'll be able to answer questions. Well, we're actually doing it live. So if you're interested, all you got to do is go on and say, here's a magic question for you. How do you do this? We'll see if we can get them to answer that. So wherever you are, make sure that you engage with us. So let's bring the guys into the show. Here we have Nerida and Laura from the Excite Media team. You guys are magic, and you're getting a lot of great responses from our clients. Welcome to The Kick.
Thank you.
Hello.
Oh, look at this. They are so bashful, so polite. We've got to change that. Hey guys, you've been with the Excite Media for a while. In the middle of the pandemic, tell us, what are you actually enjoying? Laura, we'll start with you. What are you enjoying about working with the Excite Media team?
Oh, definitely the culture, I think. It's really nice, like going to work every day and like working with all of your best friends. Like stand-up meetings in the morning are always a really great way to start the day because you just get energized by your amazing colleagues.
That's what I'd love to hear. Nerida, what about yourself? You've got a bit of an artist background as well. Over the Christmas party, we saw somebody pull out a guitar and make things happen. What are you enjoying about the culture or working at Excite?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm fairly new to Excite Media. I started, I think it was in mid-November last year, but just the culture is fantastic. And just the way that everybody is so enthusiastic about all of the projects too, and how everyone kind of works together to, it's whatever someone can do to help, they will do to help. And so I really like that openness and the teamwork. And it's a really great place to work.
Yeah, if you ever want to know about some of the culture at Excite Media, ask a staff member about the TACO program. We should introduce a Weight Watchers program to come in behind the TACOs, but that's maybe another idea. Enough with the dad jokes. Laura, when I'm talking to people about getting a copywriter on a website, I can't help but talk about the fact that I have Laura English, who has the perfect name for the perfect job. But tell me, what's a little bit about your background? How did you get into writing?
Ooh, so always knew I wanted to be a writer, but couldn't work out what I wanted to write. And it definitely wasn't books because I don't have the commitment. So I ended up doing a journalism degree, and I thought I was going to be a foreign correspondent, and then I was going to be a feature writer, and then I was going to be a music journalist, which I did do for a little bit. And then I sort of made a swift pivot into marketing, which I much prefer.
And you are absolutely doing a stunning job at it. Nerida, what about yourself? You're kind of doing both copywriting, working in design and UX. What's your preference, and what are you enjoying about the writing?
So I absolutely love writing the copy. I also love the UX in terms of just looking at the user experience and trying to basically gear a website to make the people do the action that you want them to do, which we call conversion, of course, in the business. So I love the creative side of it, and I also love really designing it to make that sale.
I love it. Love it what you're saying. Now, here's a funny thing. I don't know if you know the answer to this. We talk about copywriting. We talk about the copy for a website. It kind of infers that you're actually cheating, that you're looking over somebody else's shoulder and stealing all their work. But it's more a creative process. Can you, maybe one of you, explain what is actually copywriting for a website?
Well, I actually have a lot of people seem to think when you say copywriting that you mean the copyrights for something. I've had that a few times before. So copywriting is just writing the words. So, writing the words in a way that is going to resonate with the reader. It's going to answer the questions that the reader, the deep burning questions that the reader is seeking, and just to really communicate what needs to be communicated in the best way.
Laura, anything to add to what Nerida was saying?
Yeah, I guess she hit the nail on the head there. That's what we do. I guess when I think of on-page copywriting, I sort of think of going through a list of questions that the user has and subtly answering them without letting the user know that that's what you're doing.
I love that.
So they're going to come in with a list of reasons that they have why they don't want to go with this company, and you want to go down the page bit by bit, sort of picking those off, being like, here's why you're wrong. Yeah.
Listen, I've been doing a bit of research for a couple of projects personally at the moment, and you're absolutely right. We either come to a website with a list of the problems we have, the objections, prove me wrong, or we come to the place with, I hope they do this, I hope they do this, I hope they do this, and we want to find it out. So your job is to communicate that, and photography is brilliant, video is brilliant, but language actually gets that across even more specifically, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Let's have a bit.
Sorry, I was just going to say, it's kind of like you have to anticipate all of the questions and answer them, but also in a succinct way that is also going to convince them. So there's quite a lot of subtlety going on to cover all
I'm
of
going to
that.
let you into a bit of an insight. One of the things I say to clients, particularly technology-based clients or engineering clients, they would love to put a textbook worth of information on their websites. But I tell them that the website is meant to be an introduction, not an education. And it's your job to be able to kind of digest that down into those little chunks of goodness that are going to get them through. Let's talk about a couple of your favorite clients that you're working with at the moment. Laura, you've got a client that's in the technology space at the moment that's got a new product. That must be exciting working on.
Yeah, absolutely. So Trackanact is a new company. So they use tags. The tags are sort of, they're agnostic in their approach. So they'll pick tags from whoever has the best tags. And they go into a shipment, whether it's going on a truck, a plane, or even sit in a fridge in a pharmacy. And they're constantly monitoring the climate. So they're looking at the temperature, the light, the humidity, shock factors. Say a shipment's dropped, they'll know about it. And they have an algorithm that sort of puts it into this really nice visual dashboard that clients can then sort of log into and see their shipments just at a glance.
That's amazing. So taking care of their precious cargo, knowing where it is in the world, making sure it's delivered fresh.
Yeah.
How have you found working with that client and drawing that? I mean, you've actually summarized their business in 30 seconds, but how did you find actually doing that and talking to the client and getting that goodness out of them?
Well, these are my favorite kind of projects because you kind of get to keep digging into their business, because they come in and they're like, we have tags that monitor the temperature. And you're like, oh, okay, well, why would you need that? What's the point of that? And you get to dig deeper and they're like, well, there's all these problems in supply chain. People lose thousands of dollars a year because their shipments don't arrive in the best condition. So getting to sort of interview them, and we've had a few meetings where we go back and forth and we talk about different industries and how it's going to affect them specifically, and talk about all the problems it's solving. So it sort of evolves from being these are these tags that monitor the temperature to these are these tags that are really going to save all of these businesses thousands of dollars a year, save waste in the environment, save all of these issues, and then also give the people running these businesses accountability in their supply chain so they can then see where things go wrong and improve their own process as they go. So I guess just interviewing the client about that is really fun, and it's really cool learning all these things that you'd never heard of before.
Nerida, you're working with a client who's got a similar aspect, new product to launch, but more software related. How have you gone about discovering more information on their product?
Yeah, so that one was quite a lot of initial meetings just to really make sure that I understood them, understood their customer, being from a niche industry and understanding, because they have current software that is already industry leading and world first, and then the new software that they're releasing is world first again. So these guys just keep innovating and keep releasing new things that are quite changing for their industry. So it was a lot of it was just a lot of questioning and asking, and sending through a bit of a draft to see if I've hit the nail on the head, and kind of revising if not. So yeah, I guess just very much consulting with them to make sure I really understand, and just checking back and forth to make sure that I'm explaining it in a way that is correct and also will make sense for someone else coming into it that doesn't already know about it.
It's really interesting hearing you guys talk about this experience, because both of you are excited about learning new things about the client's business and going on that journey. And at the same time, you're probably doing some copywriting for a business that you've done stuff for before, whether it's the builder, the dentist, whoever it may be. How do you kind of discover something unique about those businesses that makes them stand out from the crowd? Any ideas there that you'd like to put in?
Yeah, so in our sort of copy questionnaire process, I have a few questions that I go through, and they've got a lot of overlap. So it sort of starts with a general one that's just like, tell me what you do. And often, say with that builder example, it'll be like, well, we build houses. They might be a custom home builder, and they build dream homes, but so do all the other custom home builders. So you ask about their process, you ask about their handover guarantees, you ask about how they're communicating with their clients throughout the process, all those little things that you can ask about. And then they're like, oh, well, I guess what we do have this shared dashboard where they can see progress whenever they want. And you're like, oh, that's the benefit. Yeah.
Nerida, do you have a kind of like a set of questions that you go through, or a process that helps you discover something unique?
Yeah, it's similar in that during our copy call, or even our initial kickoff call, just asking questions like, like, why do your customers choose you over your competitors? Or even just literally, what is it that makes you unique, can be a good way of uncovering it. And just really sometimes researching competitors to see what they do, and just really find what the differences are. But I've even had it before where testimonials and reviews from their clients have really revealed some of the standouts that make them better than the rest. Sometimes it's something that they might not think of, but they really excel in, like how they deal with the people. Having a really personable approach can be a huge incentive for a lot of industries. So I think a lot of questioning and those kind of questions, like what makes you stand out, what do your customers say about you, what makes you different.
And the funny thing is, one of the things I share with clients is that sometimes there's one thing that you do that actually all your competitors do as well, but nobody talks about it on their website. So if you can be the first person to actually talk about it, you look like you're the only one that's actually doing it. So it's really important to give you guys the answers to, as you said, Laura, the process that you actually guide through, or the way in which you communicate with clients, because some people are looking for a rigid process, others are looking for a friendly process. And if you can make yourself attractive to the right clients, then you'll get the right kind of customers. Hey, let's actually go through the Excite Media process. So somebody's just signed up for a new website. They're very keen to get started, and we know how important it is to get onto that copy as soon as possible. Laura, can you tell us what happens when we meet a client for the first time and how we get them started on the copy journey?
Yeah, so in our kickoff meetings, we always have the wireframing process, which is where sort of me or Ben or Geordie will sit in the background of the meeting, listening to everything they're saying and creating sort of a grayscaled wireframe that lays out all the sections of the page. And as we're doing that, we're thinking about the messaging. So maybe they've highlighted a really cool process. They might talk about the benefits of their company, those sort of things. And as we're mentioning those, we're sort of putting rough messaging into a wireframe. And then after that meeting, me or Nerida will go away and we'll look at the business snapshot and we'll have all these notes and we'll put together some draft copy for the homepage. I really like this process because it's great to have a homepage which has a taste of every part of the website, and it gets to the client and they can sort of nip it in the bud and be like, you got that bit perfect, but we don't quite do it like that. And then that's a really good talking point for when we get on our copy call that Nerida mentioned before, which is where we run through in more detail how we're going to extract those benefits and everything about the client.
So Nerida, when we get to that point, how do we actually collect information from the clients? Is it all phone call based, or are there other ways in which we get information from the client to be able to put together, say, a first draft?
Sometimes it's phone call based. Sometimes it's even sending over a bit of a plan with some dot points and getting their feedback on it. It really depends. It can change for each client sometimes, in terms of sometimes you already know so much information from their business snapshot and from the kickoff, that you're already able to map out a lot of the copy and the ideas just flow. Other times there's a lot more questions that you need to ask to be able to find out the information, to fill it out. So the process does change. Does that answer the question?
What I like about that is that you can be adaptable depending on the client's situation, their availability, whether they're working at 10 o'clock at night, just typing back some responses to you. Sounds like we'll work with the client as far as what their needs are. Now, I want to kind of just round this out by asking for some of your secrets to success in copywriting. Is there kind of something unique that you think is really going to make a difference to copy? Is it the length of the copy? Is it a great headline? What are some things that you think are the most important ways to get your message across? Who wants to go first?
I'll go. For me, it's headings. I think headings are way more powerful than anybody gives them credit for. I'm big on the skimmability of copy because I think that we need to face the fact that most people don't like reading. And while it's great to expand on those headings and have more information for the people that do want to read on, you've got to write for the people that just want to get the gist of what you're saying. So really big, bold headings that have the benefit, what they're doing and why you need it. That's amazing. Yeah.
Love it. Nerida, where would you go from there?
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of that. I think also putting when you're writing website copy, you don't put things in chronological order. You put things in terms of importance first. So you put the most important messaging first. You have to make sure that you answer for the person reading it. You basically have to answer what the business does, that they definitely can help them, where they service. All of those questions need to be answered so they know, yes, I'm in the right place. This business can help me. They're qualified to help me, and it's going to be a great option, because that keeps that attention to keep them reading. But definitely doing it in the most succinct way as possible is a big key to success. I think also remembering too that the website's goal for a lead generation website is to get the person to inquire, to talk more. The sales process can happen more over the phone as well, but it's really just getting that attention, getting them to the next stage, so that then you can work your magic and close the sale.
You guys have summed it up really well. I think we've got some really great takeaways there. The headlines, we're getting the importance of getting your features and benefits in front of people, getting that order of importance. And one of the things I tell clients, scannable and digestible content. That's the thing that makes it easier to read online, because we're only on that website 2.5 minutes. We're not reading a book here. Got to say, both you guys are absolutely nailing it. We're absolutely loving the feedback that we're getting from our clients, who are loving working with you on their projects. So that's going to give great confidence to the next person who wants to do a website with Excite Media. Laura and Nerida, thanks very much for being on the Kick today.
Thanks
so much for having us.
Well, weren't they absolutely amazing? Good to be able to get some insight from people who actually know what they're doing, which is far from me. I write a bit of poetry, but writing for the web, it's a talent, and you've got to have people who know what they're doing. So if you need to know more and would like to know about maybe getting your website right, come and talk to the team at Excite Media. Go to excitemedia.com.au, and we'd love to be able to have a chat to you about what we can do to make a difference in growing your business. We'll see you next week.